Well, young Australians should get part-time jobs from as young as the age of 12. Our next guest also says working is better for them than sport and music. Peter Coronica has hired more than 1,000 young people over the past 25 years and joins us on the panel now. Do you really think, Peter, that we should be putting kids to work as young as 12?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, not 12. No, let's go 15. Take a step back. 12, no. Look, planning careers from 12, definitely. Work from 15, without a doubt. And there's lots of reasons. And I wrote the book because I saw what young people were doing right and what young people were doing wrong. And the parents who pushed their kids out to work when they were young were the ones that seemed to find their way. The ones that busied themselves up with sport, activity, etc., ended up being 21, 22 and are struggling. And that's the difference.
And we were talking before about, criticism that parents aren't saying no to their kids and that kids aren't learning to be resilient. Is this all part of the same kind of pudding, if you like? Is this to teach kids? Is this because if parents are just throwing them into every single sport or musical activity or drama or whatever, they're just trying to find the one thing they're best in the world at? Whereas if you go to work, you actually learn your place pretty quickly, don't you?
You do, absolutely. And the world of work is an education. And that education breeds work ethic, it breeds skills, and that's what employers want. All those activities are usually geared by schools and by parents giving kids what they want, which is fair enough.
But isn't it a bit of a balance? Isn't it? Because sport, we have this issue of child obesity in Australia. We want to encourage more and more kids to be getting outside, to be playing sport, to be getting away from their smartphone devices. Surely it's a balancing act, isn't it?
Definitely. And I think it's really tough to be a parent, and I'm speaking on behalf as a parent. Absolutely. And it is a balancing act, but sport's just got to come third place.
Third place?
Absolutely. And I don't mean to use a sporting pun at all, but it's about building a parallel pathway, education and work side by side. And then if there's time left over, sport will be it. No doubt about it.
Peter, I agree with you, but we're facing a job shortage at the moment. So what jobs are there for teenagers to go out and actually get?
Look, when they're teenagers, there is a lot of options because they're half price. When you're 15 and 16 years of age, you're half the adult wage rate. So it's actually there's incentive there for employers to hire you. What you find is that when people go into the workforce at 2021, when they're full adult rates without skills, that's why they're struggling. They're competing with people with skills. And they have a few skills, and that's why 20, 21-year-olds are running around.
Well, it's interesting. Yeah. I mean, they can work in a family business. So I've been looking. They can work in a family business if they're 11 or 12. They can run messages. They can sell newspapers if there are any still being sold. They can deliver junk mail. So there are quite a few unskilled jobs. But you write about in your book about failed expectations and the underutilisation of skills. What do you mean by that? Do kids have expectations of something that they're never going to get?
I wouldn't say never going to get. They have expectations of what the labour market offers, and when they come out with education that doesn't meet those expectations, well, then they fail what I call an expectations test. And there is a direct link, and we're finding emerging research from Europe between underemployment and depression. So, and of course linked with education. So we're finding people that are entering the labour market that are highly educated, but of course doing work that doesn't need that education, are actually suffering mental health.
They're studying for the jobs they want, but not the jobs that are actually there.
Correct.
So what do we do then as parents? I've got two little girls. What do we do? What are you advising that we say to our kids?
OK, so I'm a firm believer that career planning starts at 12, and I've looked into practices in Germany and Switzerland, and that's where they really start bringing in the home. My son's 11, and this is a great story. He's coding. At 9, he hacked Minecraft, and at 4, he was building 100-piece puzzles. Like, this kid is going to go into IT, I can tell.
So he's the next Julian Assange.
That's it. My daughter's 9, she draws, and you can't interrupt her. She's focused. So I can already see aptitudes in them that the labour market wants. Where yet, I'm not exactly sure. So 14, 15 years of age comes along, I already know where they're going. So get a career planner. Get a consultant, get a professional. Don't assume the school's doing it, and actually start planning careers for your kids.
So you're saying don't push them into something that you want them to do. Try and find out what tip makes them tick, and then kind of guide it that way.
Look, I think guiding them is the key. I think they're a little bit too young to be making decisions on what they want, because what they end up doing is they say, I'm not sure what I want. And that is actually the problem. Gearing, like what I'll do with my son, is I'll push him in the direction where I know that there's skill shortages in the labour market, and that's happening at, again, 14, 15 and 16, which is what's happening in Germany and Switzerland, two countries with the
You
world's
should just ask the kids, you know, and you have half the population would be a fireman and half the population would be a princess.
That's right.
If it was that easy.
Peter's book is out now, Your Boss's Boots, and thanks to Peter, we have copies for everyone in the audience, you guys. Pete, thanks so much for coming in. Congratulations on the book. We appreciate it. All right, Angela Bishop is standing by.